Hello everyone, this is Jason Seeley. For those of you who have followed my blog, The Movement, for the past few years, you're in for a cool surprise. The movement has moved, not physically, but we're changing the format a little bit. Now the movement will be presented in the form of a video blog. For me, it's great, really exciting, because I get to connect with some technology, and it also gives me the opportunity to put more content excuse me, into each blog post for you to get more out of it and hopefully to improve and change the way you see the world, the lens with which you see your world, and to drive well-being in your life. So let's get started. Today is the test run. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Hopefully you enjoy it. And hopefully it gets better every week. So today we're going to speak about negative emotion and even dealing with difficult people a little bit. I had the opportunity last week to connect with a virtual conference presented by Louisa Jewell. She's the president of the Canadian Positive Psychology Association. She held an interview with author, researcher David Polly. One of his books, The Law of the Garbage Truck, is the one we're going to take the most from today. David shares some great nuggets about how we take on negative emotion, how negative emotion influences our lives, and strategies to navigate negative emotion in our lives. So that's what I'm going to share with you today, and I hope you get something meaningful out of it. So we're going to start at the beginning. There's sort of three ways that we connect with emotion, negative emotion, according to David Polly. And David Polly refers to negative emotion as garbage. So the first way that we take on garbage is we take on other people's garbage. We allow other people to dump their emotional garbage on us. Think about those times you were in a perfectly good mood, going about your business, and someone baited you into a conversation about something negative. Maybe they were complaining about their boss, their coworker, their spouse, their children. And instead of just observing that conversation, what you did is, and I do it all the time, is you jump in. They complain about their boss, you complain about your boss. They complain about their spouse, you complain about your spouse. And soon both of you are ruminating in the mud and garbage of negativity. And I know when I'm in those situations, I actually feel my body change. I feel myself get tight. I feel a bit of a shortness of breath. I can feel a physiological change to myself. And I know after the conversations are done, I'm often like, oh man, why did I get into that? That just ruined my morning. So that is one way that we take on negative emotion. We allow people to dump on us. The other way, according to David Polly, that we take on garbage, negative emotion, is we create our own garbage. So oftentimes there is an event that's happened. It's past. It's finished. But we continue to ruminate on it. We're constantly in this thinking spiral about something that's already passed that we have no control over, but that is producing negative emotion. Excuse me. So maybe someone cuts you off on while you're driving, and still 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, you're still thinking about that person who cut you off and sending negative darts in their direction. Maybe it's an argument that you've had. Maybe you're tired and you're just thinking about how tired you are. If you are doing that, you are giving energy to that negative event, that negative feeling that you're having, and you're creating your own garbage. You're creating your own emotional garbage, according to David Polly. The last way we connect with negative emotion, according to David Polly, is we dump on others. Excuse me. So I'm tired. I'm in a bad mood. Maybe my boss has said something to me that's rubbed me the wrong way. I've had a bad experience that day. I ingest or take on that negative garbage and I pass it on to somebody else. So maybe I say something rude to someone who cuts me off on the road now. I go into a bit of road rage. Or maybe I say something mean to my children or to my spouse. It could be a countless amount of other things, but then I dump my negative emotion on other people. So this is a bit of a cycle that David Pauly speaks of, excuse me, and he calls it the law of the garbage truck. Basically how we take on other people's garbage, how we create our own garbage, and how we dump garbage on other people. Pretty interesting stuff. How does this affect our well-being? Well, think about how you see the world in front of you. Today in particular is a really, really beautiful day. I can actually hear the birds chirping out my window. It's sunny, it's bright, there's blue skies. But imagine if I put on glasses with a lens that was brown or dirty. I would see everything outside through this new lens, and it wouldn't be as pleasant as what I see outside today. Taking on negative emotion and other people and garbage, emotional garbage, it affects how we interpret what is really going on around us. A lot of what goes around us is neither entirely or absolutely positive or negative. Most of it comes through how we interpret it. So again, going back to that example of someone cutting us off on the road, cutting us off while driving, and this is an example that David Pauly uses in his interview with Louisa Jewell. I could take that as, if I'm wearing my emotional garbage lenses, that idiot, what a lousy driver. I need to retaliate. I need to react. And that's when I'm full of that negative emotion. There's another way I can take it. I can take it as, you know what? Maybe that person didn't see me. That's it. Maybe that person did cut me off. Maybe they had a bad day. That's it. So when I ingest these negative emotions and this negative baggage, it affects how I perceive the reality around me. And all of this contributes to our well-being. Think about holding all this stress and tension and negativity in our bodies. This has influence on heart disease. It has influence on our blood pressure. Often it has influence on levels of depression. So this affects our well-being. It prevents us from seeing the world in a great state, and it also it affects our physical well-being. So the last piece I want to share with you are some cool strategies that David Pauly shares in his interview with Louisa Jewell on navigating negativity and emotional garbage. Let me see if I can find my notes here. So first, he speaks about embracing the metaphor of the garbage truck, and really that's just an awareness and an understanding. I'm going to embrace that that metaphor of the garbage truck, which means I'm not going to create my own garbage. I am not going to allow others to dump on me, and I am not going to dump garbage onto other people. Right there is probably where it starts and where things become more powerful. It's just an awareness of this cycle and how negatively it can affect how we perceive our world and how we experience our world. David Pauly speaks about letting something go versus letting something pass by. So something happens. Someone says something mean to us or disrespectful to us. We take it in, we process it, and then, oftentimes, we will let it go. Pauly speaks about a different way of doing it. He says, something happens, just watch it pass. Let it pass by. Don't ingest it. Don't take it in. When we take it in, we're allowing that person to dump on us. We're allowing that negative emotion to penetrate our exterior defenses and get inside of us and influence us. Even if we do let it go, it still has some influence on us. Pauly speaks about practicing real-time forgiveness, which means right in the moment, someone cuts you off, someone says something mean or disrespectful, someone is nasty to you. In that moment, practicing maybe some empathy and understanding that, maybe This has nothing to do with me. This person's behavior has nothing to do with me, and it has all to do with them. Maybe they've received some bad news, which is a possibility, and it's made them nasty. You know, people make mistakes. Someone's cut me off. Maybe they made a mistake. But practicing real-time forgiveness so that you can move on. Another strategy is venting versus dumping. So if I'm feeling that negativity, instead of me dumping on my spouse, what I can do is say, my spouse's name is Carm, Carm, do you mind if I vent for a minute? And then she has a choice to say, yeah, sure, what's up? And we can have a discussion. I say, oh, I'm feeling this way. This happened to me at work. I'm feeling this way about this. And this is different than me just dumping on her. Now I've asked for permission. And when we vent, often we make it time-based. I know as a coach, when my clients vent to me, and if any of my clients are, watching this, they'll know, sometimes I'll put a time limit on their venting. I'll say, look, would you like to, I'll notice that they're venting. I'll say, would you like to have a minute to vent? Or 5 minutes to vent about this before we move on. And this prevents people from ruminating. This prevents us from staying stuck on this problem instead of focusing on solutions. And also the beauty of the venting versus dumping is the intention. Dumping is all about me. I'm only concerned with getting this out of me and dumping it on somebody else. Whereas the intention when I'm venting is that I'm seeking help, I'm seeking support. Can you help me to move on? I want to get better. So it's different intentions. Sometimes we deal with constant dumpers. We all have those friends, those acquaintances, those colleagues. All they do is dump all the time. Polly offers us a bit of a strategy to deal with them in 6 steps. First, address it if it's a complaint. If it's a complaint, address it. You know what? If not, move on. 2, if it's a passing complaint, redirect the conversation. So someone complains about the boss, let it pass, and then, hey, did you watch the ball game last night? Did you see LeBron go off for 40 or whatever? But redirect the conversation. If it still persists, ask the person, do you need to vent? So now you're giving them the opportunity to vent. And you can even give them put a time on that. It interrupts their thought pattern. And I've done that where I do it to clients all the time, and I think it helps them to become aware that, oh my gosh, I just dumped all this stuff on Jason, my coach, and maybe I just need to vent. You can redirect people to others and supports who can fix the situation. So if it's something in the workplace, hey, maybe you should have a conversation with human resources. Or maybe you should connect with your employee assistance program. Thoughtfully let someone know, if it continues, thoughtfully let someone know how their dumping is affecting the relationship. Eventually, you're not going to want to be around these people anymore. Their dumping is going to affect the relationship. Let them know, but in a nice way. Finally, if it continues, disassociate yourself from that person. The last strategy, and I hope I get this in because it looks like my laptop is about to die, is don't bait others. So oftentimes we will go to people and we will start with a conversation based on negativity. And we bait other people into coming into that conversation with us. So he speaks about not baiting other people into our negative emotion and negative baggage. Don't bring people into your conversations, and don't be baited into other people's conversations. Finally, the most powerful thing that he asks us to do in his interview is he asks us to take the pledge, the law of the garbage truck pledge, which says, and hopefully you can say it with me, I do not accept garbage in my life. So you say it too. Let's do it together. I do not accept garbage in my life. I see a garbage truck, which is where people put all their negative emotion, and I will let it pass by. I will not create garbage for myself. I will not dump garbage on others. Hope you've enjoyed today's video blog thingy. Love to get your comments and feedback on how you think it went. Thank you very much.